I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Recently leaked footage from Gervonta Davis's training camp shows him exchanging heavy blows with sparring partners the size of professional heavyweights as he prepares for his upcoming showdown with Jake Paul.
Stop closing up, gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The clips capture Tank testing his power against towering challengers, proving he's unfazed by the difference in size. His camp reportedly organized these intense sessions to harden his resilience and quiet critics who question whether he can withstand the pressure of much bigger opponents.
Wake up. Do it to him. Put it on his ass.
Throughout training, Gervonta Davis has gone toe-to-toe with larger fighters, heavy hitters known for raw strength, to sharpen his power and timing. These grueling matchups display his self-belief and fearlessness, refusing to remain confined within his division as he challenges men who significantly outweigh him. Jake Paul has built an entire brand around selecting opponents that generate buzz and stir debate. None of his choices are random. Every matchup is designed to benefit him strategically while maintaining just enough uncertainty to keep fans engaged. Whether it's a gap in size, skill, or experience, Jake knows how to craft fights that balance risk and control. That blend of danger and calculation is what hooks audiences. They recognize his manipulation but also sense the real threat he faces when testing himself against unpredictable rivals. Each bout becomes a storyline, a gamble where control and chaos collide once the bell rings.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta Davis, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy, significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's going to win. Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys got to go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. And so this is kind of that. Because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We'd be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting. But because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Promoter Eddie Hearn warns that the upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight crosses a risky boundary. He insists that boxing's core lies in genuine competition, not theatrics disguised as sport. To him, this matchup feels more like a staged spectacle than a fair contest. The size gap between the fighters, with Jake being naturally heavier and Gervonta coming from lighter, speed-focused divisions, undermines the balance of competition. Hearn cautions that if boxing leans too far into entertainment, it risks losing the respect earned through decades of integrity and dedication. He views this event less as a true test of skill and more as a business show designed to capture attention and profit, threatening the sport's legacy.
I always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. You know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. Now, whether you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, you know, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former champion Pauli Malignaggi offers a grounded perspective. He reminds fans that this shouldn't be mistaken for a sanctioned contest. It's entertainment, plain and simple. He notes that there's no official ranking impact, no betting stakes, and no serious consequences for either fighter's career. To him, it's a modern exhibition aimed at entertaining the public, not testing professional limits. Malignaggi's outlook mirrors the frustration of traditionalists who believe boxing is shifting towards spectacle over substance. Yet, his realism acknowledges how the sport has evolved, where charisma, social media presence, and marketing often outweigh championship belts.
Don't think when I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, you know, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. This could be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, you know, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. You know, that's a lot of weight, Carl. You know, you've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. You know, so do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Analyst Wade Plemons of the Wade Concept describes Jake Paul as a master manipulator who wields fame and ego like weapons. Jake's strategy extends beyond punches. He uses mind games to drag opponents into his orbit. He builds tension, provokes reactions, and transforms conflicts into viral moments. Wade explains that Jake baited Gervonta Davis into this fight by leveraging money, fame, and massive publicity. In short, he made the offer impossible to refuse. Jake's confidence and marketing savvy ensure every bout becomes a worldwide event. He understands that victory isn't limited to the ring. It's about owning the narrative before and after the fight.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight. and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create is if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewers that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
Amid all the noise, Gervonta Davis remains locked in on the mission ahead. Insiders from his camp describe him as laser-focused and mentally sharp, taking the challenge as seriously as any championship fight. His sparring sessions feature noticeably larger partners, emphasizing his preparation for physical adversity. Observers at press events note his composed demeanor and unwavering concentration. For Gervonta, this isn't about fame, it's about proving that pure boxing skill and precision can overpower size and spectacle. To him, the fight represents a personal test and a stand for the technical beauty of the sport.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man. Because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belt and all of that stuff.
The matchup has split the boxing community in two. Critics argue it insults the sport's integrity, while supporters see it as a bold evolution that draws new fans. Davis' supporters believe it's his moment to expose the line between a real boxer and a showman. Meanwhile, Jake's fans credit him with revitalizing interest in a sport struggling to attract younger audiences. The divide reflects a generational conflict between purists who view boxing as art and newcomers who see it as entertainment. Regardless of where one stands, Jake Paul has achieved his goal, keeping everyone talking.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean, you at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean, you owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups, you know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors. And all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
Retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They around. They around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate. All right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this?
That's it for today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.